And Mr. Secretary, why was Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Lohmeyer relieved of his command?
It was a decision made by his chain of command, and typically those decisions are made based upon either having confidence or a lack of confidence. This issue is under investigation by the IG, and so I won't comment any further on that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my breakdowns. Now let's get into it, because this one is a big one. Congressman Matt Gaetz went toe-to-toe with former Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in a hearing, and what came out of it is pretty revealing. We're talking about critical race theory in the military, censorship of officers, and a whole lot of doublespeak from Pentagon leadership.
In my previous discussions with service members and particularly officers, I would hear about complaints over parts not arriving on time, long deployments, and in my more recent discussions with those officers, the number one issue that they raised to me with concern, often unable to speak publicly for fear of the type of retribution that Lieutenant Colonel Lohmeyer faced, they say that your stand down regarding extremism did not help our military, it hurt the military. And I want to share with you that perspective, that it caused service members to otherize one another, it impaired group cohesion, and interesting to me is that I've heard those sentiments most frequently from units that are majority-minority, that this was not particularly helpful. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to maybe share with us more specificity regarding the definitions that seem to be a challenge when Ms. Hartzler was asking questions. How should the Department of Defense think about critical race theory?
Could I make a comment, Secretary? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm very limited on my time, General Milley.
Well, I just want to make a comment. The feedback
I know, but
I've gotten
I've asked the question to Secretary Austin.
I don't know what the issue of critical race theory is and what the relevance here with the department. We do not teach critical race theory. We don't embrace critical race theory, and I think that's a spurious conversation. And so we are focused on extremist behaviors, and not ideology, not people's thoughts, not people's political orientation. Behaviors is what we're focused on. And one final point, and thanks for your anecdotal input, but I would say that I have gotten 10 times that amount of input, 50 times that amount of input on the other side that have said, hey, we're glad to have had the ability to have a conversation with ourselves and with our leadership. And that's what we need to make sure that we remain a cohesive organization.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary, it may be that you're receiving that input in the ratios you describe because it was your directive.
And then came the kicker. Gaetz exposed the fact that Austin brought on Bishop Garrison, a known critical race theorist, as an advisor. Gaetz even read one of Garrison's old tweets where he said, "If you support Trump, you're basically complicit in evil." He literally said, "There is no room for nuance." That's the guy advising the Pentagon on personnel issues.
It may be that people are concerned about criticizing your decision because Lieutenant Colonel Lohmeyer was not relieved of his command for his actions. He was not relieved of his command because of poor performance regarding his duties. He was relieved of his command precisely because of his thoughts and because of his critique of critical race theory. It is particularly helpful that you have said that the Department of Defense does not embrace critical race theory and that you think the discussion is not appropriate. I would suggest that it is the ideology that is not appropriate, and it is particularly concerning to me that you have hired a critical race theorist to give you advice on personnel matters, and that person is Bishop Garrison. And I would particularly observe that on July 27, 2019, Bishop Garrison tweeted regarding former President Trump, he's dragging a lot of bad actors out into the sunlight, normalizing their actions. And here's the relevant part. If you support the president, you support that. There is no room for nuance in this. There is no more, but I'm not like that talk. And then he replies to his own tweet with what seems to be a very ethno-nationalist hashtag, hashtag Black44. Could you enlighten us as to what advice Mr. Garrison has given you? And are you concerned that while you testify publicly to our committee that the department doesn't embrace critical race theory, you have hired someone who is precisely a critical race theorist?
This is the first I've ever heard Mr. Garrison be described as a critical race theorist. So this is new. And, I'm sure
did you
that
review
he
his
would,
tweets before you hired him, personally?
Pardon me?
Did you review his tweets before you hired him?
I did not personally review his tweets.
I would just ask that maybe that be helpful. Is there anything you can share in just these final seconds regarding any advice he's given you?
Let me just share one other thing that you brought up, Congressman, about the input that comes to me. You know, I trust my leadership from top to bottom that they will give me fair and balanced and unvarnished input. And for you to say that people are telling me what I want to hear, I get it, but I'm smart enough to know
that does happen.
Yeah. You know, maybe they're telling you what you want to hear.
Well, I don't know that they even know what I want
Gentleman's
to hear.
time has expired.
Congressman Gaetz laid bare something the military brass doesn't want to admit. Critical race theory is influencing the Department of Defense, whether Austin wants to call it that or not. When officers get punished for their thoughts, when troops say diversity trainings hurt cohesion, and when outspoken woke ideologues are hired as advisors, there's no denying the ideological creep. This isn't about making the military stronger. It's about politics. And if our defense leaders are more concerned about policing thoughts than preparing for war, we're in real trouble. Anyway, I want to hear what you think. Was Gaetz right to press Austin on this? Do you believe CRT is seeping into the military, or do you buy Austin's denials? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. We got a lot more content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.